The Old Man and the Sea. As we all know, Hemingway is one of the most important authors in the history of American literature. Belonging to the modernist tradition, his style is widely known and labeled as the iceberg principle, which is the epitome of the concise, ambiguous, selected language. This style forces the reader to read between lines, since only an eighth of the possible interpretations is shown. Moreover, he is also characterized for shaping the stereotypical figure of the hero, who will meet his tragic fate alone. At first sight, The Old Man and the Sea could be perceived as a simple short novel, with a plain course of events and an unchallenging form. Santiago is a veteran fisherman who goes along on a long fishing journey in order to win some money and have something to eat. He happens to find an enormous fish that gives him hope. The tale revolves around the self-imposed mission of catching the fish, no matter the complications he must overcome.
Nevertheless, that would be an extremely superficial approach to the reading. We must deepen into the different layers of allegorical criticism that the author implicitly brings forward, as well as into the deconstructed figure of an aged and tragic hero who tries to meet the expectations that society has imposed upon masculine stereotypes. These masculine stereotypes are clearly explained under the concept of masculinity in the quote that follows. Masculinity is a social construct that may be defined at its core by certain physical features and an inner sense of being male, characterized by certain behavioral and affective traits such as toughness, power, control, independence, differentiation from womanhood, restricted emotions, physical and social competence, assertiveness and aggressiveness, among other characteristics. These traits are culturally constructed to inform what a real man should be within the American sociocultural environment. Additionally, age, ethnicity, and even disability status are thought to contribute to the differential expression of masculinity, and, in this case, it is precisely the old man's advanced age what threatens his ability to perform masculinity, almost arriving to a state of complete emasculation. However, unlike other Hemingway novels that focus on what men cannot do, The Old Man and the Sea is completely different, since it's a story about effort and resilience towards life, a story in which the heroic impulse of the old fisherman leads him to face and successfully surpass many death-facing situations, such as surviving without having fished for 84 days, or returning home alive and kicking after the incessant attacks of the sharks.
As a result of the previously introduced individualism, the fisherman develops a tight relationship with the sea, also referred to as La Mar, which embodies the only womanly figure portrayed in the book. Despite being a non-animated natural symbol, the sea is undoubtedly gender, as can be clearly seen in the quote by the narrator about Santiago. He always thought of the sea as La Mar, which is what people call her in Spanish when they love her, as though she were a woman. Furthermore, it explicits that he loves her as he loves and respects nature, and the sea is a naturalistic entity that gathers all kinds of living beings inside her, like the womb of a mother. Thus, it is not a surprise that the fisherman ends up in a platonic, heterosexual, and toxic relationship with Lamar, in which he becomes obsessed with her, but she does not care about him and even hinders his path with that feminine malice that Hemingway describes in lines such as, "If she did wild or weak things, it was because she could not help them," which implies that the sea is also seen as a stereotypically femme fatale. This leads to the toxicity of unrequited love for the highly deified beloved that only brings problems to the fisherman. In a nutshell, The Old Man faithfully depicts the concept of emasculation, since his advanced age constantly hinders his masculinity, whereas the sea is seen as a femme fatale, profoundly desired by the man, and this desire results in a pernicious relationship.